Welcome everybody, I'm your host Distributor Cap. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Harbor Freight Tools Icon quarter drive ratchet with the cover grip handle. This ratchet comes in at the price tag of $29.99 at the time of recording. It is a chrome vanadium steel construction with a rubber / plastic comfort grip handle. It comes in as dimensions listed as 7/16 of an inch tall and 7 inches long. Now, before some of you more astute viewers want to unzip to check that length, I personally prefer a tape measure, so just take my word for it. I've had this ratchet for going on about, give or take 2 years and a few months, so to say. I mostly work in the heavy diesel field. Semi-trucks are my usual game. Still do base automotive as well, and medium duty diesel as well too. So usually my go-to ratchets are going to be of the 3/8 to 1/2 inch category. I even go to 3/4 to 1 inch. That's a whole nother ball game for another day. But 1/4 inch is usually not what I play with. But when it comes to needing to use 1/4 inch, it's usually working on small engine parts, or when I'm working on base automotive, or when I'm doing like DPF work, diesel exhaust work, band clamps for intercoolers or CACs, if you will. So I do use 1/4 inch more than I actually really think about, and this has been my go-getter ratchet for it. I have other swivel head ratchets. I have smaller 1/4 inch ratchets for tire spaces and doing under dash work, but when it comes to the bare bones, I'm gonna use 1/4 inch. This has been my go-to. This has been my daily driver for that. And drive she has. This thing has been rocking and rolling, no hiccups whatsoever. Just listen to that. Little crunchy, but with the age, I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to take that kind of loss of, she's getting worn, she's getting used, but she's held up great. You can see the anvil got some licks to it, but nothing too terrible at all. And those curious of the tooth count, she is a 90 tooth ratchet herself. It takes a little bit of force to turn it, but I haven't done the Icon ratchet mod yet of opening this up, taking all the grease out, and swapping over to a lubricant oil instead. I personally just haven't had the need to. This little sucker has just been going and going. And I mean, as some of you can tell, I am not good about cleaning my tools. I mean, I understand that Icon or Harbor Freight with the Icon line with the ratchets, they like to supply these little I don't even want to call it a microfiber, a little cloth to polish your tool and make it look all nice. Me personally, get a little dirt on my hands, whatever, I don't care. I usually wear gloves most of the time, so whatever. I mean, if it's not slipping out of my hand, if it's not making the customer's vehicle all nasty and stuff, I'm not so worried about it. But that all being said, this thing's had plenty of diesel covered in it. It's had plenty of grease, plenty of gasoline. It's had tons and tons of solvents, oils, you name it. And the finish hasn't been getting ruined from that. You can see a little bit of damage and stuff from it going across the shop floor a few times and what have you. And the handle's held up great. Got some marring going here at the bottom, but yeah, it hasn't deteriorated, hasn't fallen apart. And honestly, if I really do want to clean up my tools, just oh, well, that's a dud. Anyways, you get the point. Just spray some brake clean on there, rocking and rolling, wipe it with a rag, you're good to go. Your tool is clean. And to make the neat freaks out there happy, see, I clean my tools. Who gives a crap? But anyways, we're getting sidetracked here. So, back to the ratchet. As far as everything's been, construction, fit, finish, handle, she's held up great. In a heavy-duty environment, in a shop environment, professionally being used every day, she's done amazing. She's held up. She hasn't fallen apart. I haven't had to warranty this thing once. And some of you guys out there might be stuck on, oh, you want to have a quick release, because this is not a quick release style ratchet. Well, here we have a snap-on 1/4 inch drive, and clicks in, holds in just fine, rocking and rolling, holds up great, comes out with ease, no problem at all. And then we have I think this is a Walmart Hyper Tough. Clicks in, Doesn't want to pull out, maybe a little more play in it, but that's socket more than anything else. Rocking and rolling, good. Comes out with ease, no problem at all. Have not had any issues of sockets falling off or too much play up front, or just any issues getting them in and off. I'm fine with this not being a push button quick release, and I really don't have a preference between the two. But as far as everything goes, performance wise, this Ratchet has done amazing, and I haven't had any issues with it working for me every single day. She gets up, she starts, she does the job, goes back in the box, not an issue. This thing I have no problem using for the rest of my career. Now, there is one con that I have with this Ratchet, is I'm concerned about reliability when it comes to pushing it to the edge. Now, yes, 1/4 inch is small. It's meant to be small. It's meant for tight spaces. It's meant for basic small stuff. You're not going to be pulling tires off with this bad boy. But I do find myself a lot of times wrenching outside of the shop, taking off places, doing road calls, doing side of the road repairs, or repairing things in customers' yards, what have you. And, there's only a finite amount of tools I can bring with me. And yeah, I'm going to bring 1/4 drive stuff. I always try to pack everything and anything, because in my brain, it's a lot of times I'm going to a situation where I don't even know what I'm going to do to fix the truck or fix the trailer or whatever I'm doing. A lot of times I'm getting thrown at something with a simple complaint that has nothing to do with what I'm going to have to do. It's always a crapshoot. You're just rolling the dice. Now, when it comes to throwing this into my bag, yeah, I think it's going to do just fine. But I think about the situations where, what if my 1/2 inch breaks? What if my 3/8 breaks? What if I don't have those? What if the size socket that I'm using is only a 1/4 drive and I need to put some serious force to this? Now, another 1/4 drive that I keep in my box is this old Craftsman. I've had this Craftsman since I've started wrenching. I've had this Craftsman, I think, since I was like, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that. I can't remember. I remember buying this sucker at a Sears. So, one of the last Sears around in Oregon that I know of, at least. But, they're similar in width going down the handle. And that's kind of what I'm talking here. But maybe it's just a psychological thing and not an actual truth thing. But, I look at how thin this is, and I worry about if I have to put some serious torque against this Ratchet. I'm not as scared about breaking up here as I'm scared about breaking or bending down here. Just with the length, just with the force. And if I stick a snipe to this, I really think, personally, and this is just a theory, a guess, I could be 100% wrong here, I'm very concerned about this bending and failing and breaking and leaving me screwed. Versus this one, with how much more beefy this is, granted, it is shorter. Yes, I mean, I could be completely spitting bull at this point in time in a theory here, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like this is less likely to break on me, just given the fact that it's just a little more beefier, a little more strong. But I digress. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's 1/4 inch. I mean, you're going to be in a really crappy spot if that's all you have to rely on in a situation like what I'm talking about here. But in a sense of throwing this into my junkyard bag, or throwing this in a little 1/4 inch, get you home kit on the side of the road, or a trail kit or something like that, yeah, I'm going to bring more than just that. Absolutely. But in an everyday scenario, would I, be kept up at night thinking that this is the only thing to save me? I'm not so much going to be afraid. I'm not going to be shaking in my boots over it. Honestly, I'm probably blowing the situation overload with this kind of stuff, or overdoing it with what I'm saying completely. But that's the only con I really have with this Ratchet, is there's some times when I kind of think to myself, I might be going a little too hard on this thing. I think it might break. But, I mean, that's all subjective at the end of the day, completely. This whole diatribe is subjective, 100%. You can argue I'm nitpicking at this point in time. Well, in summary, if I was to give this Ratchet a 1 out of 10 rating, 1 being the worst tool in the world, make it scrap metal right now, don't ever buy one, and 10 being God's gift to Earth when it comes to tools, honestly, I would give this a solid 9. I mean, this This has been one of the best quarter drive ratchets I've ever had. I've definitely used better in my life, but as a daily driver in a professional world, I love this little sucker, and I'm not worried about it whatsoever when it comes to just everyday basic kind of use. There's some situations that, you know, I would definitely not take this into, and, you know, I know and understand the limits of this ratchet, and I respect that and I get that. But for price point and what I've put it through, which is not the worst I've ever done when it comes to some of my tools, but for what I've put it through and what it's done, I've made my money back tenfold when it comes down to it at the end of the day. This is a solid, great little ratchet, and I would highly recommend anyone to go out and buy it, especially if all you got is 30 bucks sitting in your back pocket and need a quarter drive. This should be your go-to. Well, thank you all so very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like it if you like it, dislike if you didn't like it. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I do other tool review videos on this channel as well. Also, anytime I could be turning a wrench or doing anything automotive related and can film it, I post that on the channel as well. Some repairs, other automotive junk, and tool reviews. So, if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing. Really helps me out. But yeah, I've been your host, Distributor Cap. Thank you all so much for watching. You all have a good one.